So, Liz, let's talk a little bit about some of the things that that we're facing today as far as mental challenges. Let's talk about performance anxiety, the fear of failure. We know it's well documented the issues that are happening right now in sports, youth sports, conflicts that are happening, parents' involvement, referee shortages, social media, all this stuff. A lot of this stuff, some of the stuff that me and you, I'm probably could speak between me and you, Liz, that we didn't have necessarily. We didn't have social media really to deal with, versus now where that's such a big part of it. So let's talk about how your program approaches some of the stuff that we're going to talk about here. Let's talk about like performance anxiety and the fear of failure and stuff like that. What are some approaches that your program does to help athletes and not just athletes, but parents get through this anxiety and this fear of failure? Because parents, I think they think them personally that they fail if their kid doesn't do well, which is not true. But sometimes I think there's that perspective that parents watch their kids and they don't do something good. It's a reflection on them negatively, and it's not. But how do you guys go about informing parents, informing athletes about how to deal with challenges such as anxiety or failure?
Wow, there's so much there, and such a crucial,
Right.
crucial topic. I think the biggest thing is, well, there's a lot of big things. So I would say the big part that I focus on with my athletes is looking at how they can push, not, back in our day, we talked about this, or it was like, like toughen up, like handle it, just go hard, like just lock in, right? Like those are the things you got to want it more. Like just, it was always just kind of like, why is this an issue? And I'm not saying that that was healthy back then either, but I think back in our age, that was more prevalent. And now we're seeing that all of these other pressures that our athletes have today that we did not have are really taking a toll on them. There's a lot of talk about like anxiety and being anxious, and the kids that I work with, before I ever meet with them, I talk to their parents, and anxious comes up a lot. And the truth is that being anxious isn't bad. Like when we feel a level of anxiousness or fear or something like that, it drives us to do something. So I always use the example, if you're anxious about your test tomorrow, what do? Well, you study for it, because that helps you realize that then you're prepared. And so the more prepared you feel for things, the less anxious you are. If you feel anxious because someone's walking towards you and you just have that bad vibe, you go across the street, you go into a store, you do stuff. So being anxious sometimes is a trigger to your brain that something needs to happen. That's very different than having anxiety that debilitates you. And people who have a true anxiety, they need support that is beyond something that I would do. But I differentiate that because I feel like the word anxious and anxiety get thrown around interchangeably. And truthfully, being anxious about something, not all the time, again, not debilitating, but is a good thing. It tells us what we need to be working on. So sometimes just naming that, people are like, oh, okay, well, yeah, that makes sense. And I feel like we've missed that a little bit. It's become, everything that makes us anxious is bad, and that's not always the case.